Hello and welcome to Budget with Brian, and today I'm going to show you my fantastic Hikoki NR1890DC first fix nailer. Now before we get into this too much, if you're not already a subscriber, do hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, and we'll let you know when our next videos are out. So I got this nailer, this first fix nailer, for the very specific reason to do some fencing work with this in the summer, and we did a great job with it. It was really everything that we wanted to do. Neither myself or my carpenter had a framing nailer, and we certainly didn't have a pads load or any of those. And what we thought about is, let's get a battery one. And at the time when we were looking at this, the Makita first fix nailer wasn't available, and that possibly would have been our first choice, although still very expensive. The Hikoki was a clear winner. It was best in breed, and despite some of its shortcomings, which is all really around the weight, some of those have been addressed in their revised model. So I'm a little bit late in showing you this one. This is the slightly older model, but it isn't really the reason why I'm showing you this today. So I've got Makita batteries, but I want to use Hikoki. What do we do? So, in the box here, we have an adapter. And this little adapter shoe literally sits in between the Hikoki nailer and a Makita battery, and then it runs the machine. So in true Budget with Brian style, we're going off brand on the battery, so it's not even an original. That just that just slides on, and so you end up with something sort of this size and shape. And that adapter doesn't really weigh anything. And then the adapter slides nicely. If I move the rafter thing out the way, and it just clips on very nicely like that. Now it's not too much in the way, but your rafter hook is definitely compromised with it on there. You might, I don't know, maybe if you used a smaller 2 amp hour battery, you might just get away with it. It's possible that there'll be later versions of this adapter which are a little slimmer, that might, but you know, realistically, who cares? So let me just check to see if that's got some nails in it, and we'll fire off some nails. Yep, it's got a couple in there. So we go ahead and turn it on. There's the button, power on button. Right, that's powering on. There's our little test piece of wood that we're going to join. And there we are. Nailed beautifully. Performance-wise, really not noticed any difference. Literally just able to use my Makita batteries on a Hikoki nailer. And there we have it. Again, loving the nailer. It's really worked out to be very good. I have even considered getting the smaller pin nailer, but actually I probably would buy the Makita one for that, just because actually that really does need to be a lot smaller, and I don't actually know why that isn't a 12 volt unit either. But there we are. So I'd quite fancy that. This has worked out really well. So all that remains for me to say is, don't forget to subscribe.